It's a funny idea. If you've watched yesterday's video, hello. If you've watched yesterday's video, there's the idea being presented, or that I'm presenting the idea that I'm really looking for the witness to my own state of mind within the framework of what seems to be being presented in the dream. The nature of what that witnessing can look like, and often does look like, it's hard to say. You can't really ever say, oh, I forgave this person, so this person suddenly stopped being annoying to me, and I stopped manifesting the need for that annoyance, therefore they stopped being annoying to me. Which of course in that example would be the need for validation through being annoyed all the time and validating the self-identity. I mean, it can look like anything. The nature of the occurrence of the externalizing of the internal shift is something that might take place on the other side of the planet, or indeed the other side of the universe. You never really know. But one of the things, and one of the comments on that video, which is an incredibly helpful comment, it's a really good comment actually, is that it's just more of my mind thinking that something I see means anything, when in actual fact it doesn't mean anything, which is the very first lesson of A Course in Miracles. Nothing I see means anything. However, that being the truth of the matter, nothing I see means anything, again, that doesn't mean that I haven't already given it a meaning in opposition to that truth. And in actual fact, lesson 2, I've given what I see all the meaning it has for me. Deems in its postulation that you need to really dig out the meaning you've given it in light of the fact that it doesn't mean anything. Jesus is telling me this doesn't mean anything, and I'm seemingly attracted to it or seemingly have an affinity with it in some regard, so therefore I must have given it a meaning, right? And that's not good or bad or anything. I mean, in the light of the spiritual transformation that we're embarking upon, we're here to be honest. We're here to be honest and admit to our foibles and our mistakes. And it's like, yep, look at me, dunce hat on. Here I am giving everything a meaning, and I'm open to being shown the meaning that I've given everything so that I can be healed of it. I don't want to just dismiss things with lesson 1 and say nothing I see means anything. That's the truth of the matter, but it's not where I find myself. Right? And lesson 2 makes it very clear that that's not where I find myself. So if I dismiss it or bypass it with a concept, if I am attracted to something in the world, or seemingly drawn attention to something in the world, it's always going to be A, for my higher purpose, and B, so that I can see the witness to the transformation of my mind through that particular something. Because everything is either a lesson or a blessing, and that's where you have to keep it. If I think that it's actually about making some kind of judgment about what I think I see going on, then I'm missing the point of my spiritual process entirely. The idea of that judgment, whilst it can be included in and seen as error and forgiven, the idea of it is only addressing what I think I'm seeing on the surface level out there between the combatants, let's say, between the people and the individuals and whatever involved in the situation that I'm attracted to. And it's not grasping the matter of the fact that what I see is a process going on in my own mind. What I see is an association or a concept of temporal associations that are linked together somewhere in my own mind that are attempting in my subconscious and oblivious to my conscious realization to enforce the nature of the identity that I think that I am as this Dave character, which is pretty funny, as the Dave avatar. when if I go to the deepest level, I can go with that, or to the highest level, I can go with that. Either way, the truth of the matter is that if I'm honest about where I find myself, I am Christ, along with you, appearing through and seemingly as this Dave character. But I am not the Dave character itself. It's like if you go to a shopping centre or something, you take your car and you pull up with everybody else in the car park there with all their cars, and people don't identify themselves by their cars. They don't say, oh, I'm a Jaguar, or I'm a Toyota, or I'm a whatever. They say, hi, I'm so-and-so, and my car is this. I'm a human being. Now, that's an extremely externalized situation. If we take that internally, I am the Christ and so are you, replacing human beings with that identity shift. I'm the Christ and so are you. And this is my vessel called Dave, and that's your vessel called Thomas or Mary or whoever. And there's a really good definition to be made there in being purposeful about how it is that the nature of relationships on earth are processed, because they all have to, and this is eventually, I'm not going to say you have to do it straight off the bat, because this is a learning process, right? So don't beat yourself up if you don't get it right straight away, because I didn't get it right straight away, and there's still moments in the day where I slip off the mark and find myself looking at things on a physical level, right? But when you can begin to see that the external world reflects ideas, nothing more than ideas, when you can begin to see that the external reality or the external appearance of reality, the form association that you identify with in relationship to your bodily entity, your avatar, is nothing more than the symbolic playing out of a state of mind. Okay, it's nothing more than a symbolic outward picturing of a state of mind. Of the state of minds possible, there are two. In this realm, in this dimension, there are two. One is denial of truth, which is a state of mind. I exist in a state called denial, let's say, and that's the status quo. When you find yourself here as a newbie, let's say, as someone who's unenlightened or someone who doesn't really know much about spirituality or anything like that, and you're wondering why you're here. And then there is a state of mind in transition, right, where you realized for yourself, or you've come to a realization that there's more to life than what you see on the five senses and on the physical plane. And you're beginning to explore the ideas being presented, perhaps through this video or other means, that maybe you're not that body and you're undergoing a series of shifts, or maybe you've had a profound shift and experienced direct illumination of the mind, wherein through that shift or shifts you're starting to form the conclusions that marry up with the spiritual disciplines or spiritual scriptures perhaps that you're looking at. That's the only two states of mind possible. There is the state of mind which is enlightened, which is, well, I'm going to say it's my state of mind, having had the experience of the enlightenment of my mind, but I still very much find myself in the position where I realize that I'm still in the purification process or the transformation process. It's not as hectic and not as thick and fast as it used to be 27 years ago when I first began it after my illumination, but it still seems to be the state of the status quo for me regardless. These guys are my biggest fans, I swear. These beautiful, these are two babies here. The lighter grey ones are babies. These guys are probably 6 months old, maybe, I would say. Seems I can't go anywhere around here without them coming to sing me songs. They're beautiful. Thank you. Thank you very much, you two. So I find myself, and this is for everybody, I'm guessing. I mean, at the point where you're truly, and I want to talk about the enlightened state just for a moment, which will interest a lot of people, but where 99.99999.9% of people find themselves is at some place in their transformative process when that is complete, and when there's no need for learning any more lessons in singularity, which rules out me needing to make these videos or feeling like I should, which comes and goes in and out of my awareness from time to time, actually. But I feel somewhat restrained or repurposed through the idea of helping to collapse time through being helpful itself to whatever degree I can. So I keep making these videos. Even though inside it's like, well, I'm just making them for myself. I just know that. I'm just declaring this to myself. But most people are in the process of transformation. 99.9.9, whatever. That's going to be the case until you lay the vessel down, until you lay the body aside. When learning is done, the body is no longer needed, and boom shankar, onward in the journey of the soul to the next experience of divinity or divine self, which in my case has been revealed as being participating in, I don't really know what realm, dimension. I don't even think there's definitions for it beyond the third dimension, because it's only here we really try to classify everything. But in another dimension, in a higher vibratory frequency, where everyone has blue avatars and is incredibly tall, 8 to 9 feet tall, I would say. But anyway, that's getting slightly off the track. The enlightened state, or the state of being that accompanies the recognition of divine self, isn't really an achievement of anything as such. Everybody lords it up like it's some big thing, but really it's just you're remembering who you are and what you are. It's like I had a bump on the head and I've forgotten, and now I remember, and it's like, oh, you're enlightened. And that seems to be, or the what would you call it, the supporting material that I've read about all of that sort of stuff in relationship to my own experience of it seems to present the idea that it's some kind of saintly achievement or something, whereas I don't really think it is. I think it's just kind of like, well, good, now get on with it, you know. However, in saying that, the illumination of the mind and realizing the true self, the divine self, is something that, oh man, I can only talk about it in relationship to what few memories I have now of the avatar association, of the false identity, living in ignorance of that divine self up until that experience occurred, which, it makes sense of everything. It makes sense of absolutely everything. Having that experience puts everything together. It's like the last piece of the jigsaw puzzle. There's no more puzzle after that. For me, I put the last piece in early, let's say. I was constructing my jigsaw of trying to work out who the hell I am and what the hell I'm doing in this world. And all of a sudden, the final piece was inserted for me, and I saw the whole picture. But I seem to find myself now in the process of still completing that jigsaw puzzle, whilst at the same time in doing so now representing the completion. So when I say to people, well, the world's already over, it's already actually done, that's what I'm talking about. The jigsaw puzzle is already complete. I've seen the ending, I know how the picture looks and everything. and I'm representing that as best I can through my own efforts at assembling the puzzle or purifying the mind. It's not really a puzzle, but putting the picture together. I'm not sure if that's a great analogy, but it'll probably do for now. So that question from yesterday's video is really, really good, because it's a mistake that I made. It's a mistake that I know other people have made in their process, which is to two-step or to transcend or to bypass the actual application of, and I'm not sure that that's what was implied in the comment, but I just thought I'd use that comment as a step into this video, because that it does occur that way. But it's very easy, especially once you've had an experience and your mind is supercharged with light and you can't be told nothing because, I've had an experience, I'm spiritually something. It takes a long time for that to wear off, and that sort of humble humility, whatever, to kick back in where you realise you're not all that in this world. You're not all that, it's just very normal and very ordinary in a certain sense, and just amazing in another sense. But because you can't share the amazingness with everyone unconditionally, except through the declaration, you can't share it directly because it's a revelation directly from God to man. It kind of falls into the bracket of what a useless gift I've been given. And I don't mean to sound disrespectful of the gift that I've been given, but it's like, man, I just hope that I'm able to share it with some sort of clarity through these videos. And people tell me they hear things that I say through the video, so I'm guessing that hopefully I'm doing okay. But it is easy to slip into that spiritual bypass, which is why I always teach, keep your finger on your nose, no matter what. It doesn't matter how much spiritual teaching, learning you have. You're never separate from anything. I'm never separate from anything. Keep my finger on my nose. Whether you've been doing this for a week, a year, a decade, a lifetime, there's never anyone else out there. Never. The mirror never lies, and I'm always externalizing my reflection. There's not two reflections, a separate one for me and the one that I think I'm embodying. All right, well, I'll leave it there, just a short one today. I love you guys, and thank you for all the comments. Please like and subscribe too. That keeps Tina happy and keeps the algorithm, I guess, or the video showing up in your feed, I suppose. I'm getting on board with all this lingo jingo, but I'm just very grateful. It'll only be a couple of weeks. Somebody else received their little book the other day. They mentioned in a comment in yesterday's video, so I'm grateful that we've still got some to be, pardon me, getting sent out around the place. But the new ones will hopefully be off to get printed in the next couple of weeks. So I'll do a whole video on that when they arrive, and anyone who wants one, highly recommend to get one. So it's great to keep in your pocket in times of chaotic interference in the world where you just seem to lose your shit. You can't ever really lose your shit. You're always right in the middle of it. Just keep your finger on your nose and you'll be fine. There's a lot of humble pie to eat in this, and when you learn to equate eating humble pie with being grateful because you've actually adopted your true purpose as healing, and that's more valuable to you than anything else, then gratitude will be your guiding light. You'll be grateful. Humility won't be a problem. It won't be something that you have an ego presentation about. I love you. We're all in this together. Everyone put your dunce hat on. That was we had a Zoom meeting about everyone wearing a dunce hat. So it's such a great thing, how sweet to be an idiot, Monty Python. How sweet to be an idiot. Can't remember any more of
song, but thank you. Love you. Peace.